I've talked a lot about governance and how to recruit people and what the benefits are. But let's talk about some of the green team responsibilities. You see on this slide, one of the things that's most important is that you figure out what are the responsibilities of the different volunteers on the green team. And you take, for example, what we did here on the slide is just say, here are the different things, and this came from an organization we worked with where they assigned who is the person that's responsible for it, and that's the R, who's gonna be the backup person, and who can just assist on it. So, volunteer one, they're gonna be responsible for two things, and they're not gonna be really touching it. Those two things may take a lot of time and effort. Whereas volunteer, five, they're assisting on a number of issues, and they're a backup on some other things. So you want to be really working with it. So as you're thinking about, assigning them by activity or function area, realize people are going to have different responsibilities. You can't just have the same people always responsible for everything and the same and other people always the backup or the assist. You want to mix and match and align it where people's skills and expertise and their passions lie. How do you set goals? I think one of the easy ones that I, just put a 2x2 metrics up there and you say, what are the things that are going to have low effort? What are the things that are going to have high effort? What are the things that have low impact? What's going to have high impact? And that area that's going to be low effort, high impact, attack that first. Areas that's low effort, low impact, well, that's another one to do, but at least you can gain some wins. Stuff that requires high effort and high impact, that's what you want to be shooting for. But something that's high effort and low impact, that should be last on your list. So you want to be looking at your goals, setting them, prioritizing them correctly. And then also you want to be backcasting. I tell people all the time, don't try and boil the ocean in year one. Find out what your baseline goal is, like we use here in recycling. Figure out what you want to be doing in year one, year two, year three. Don't be just trying to go like from here's where we are to 100% recycled in year one. You're not likely to be successful. Build yourself up over time, find out what those barriers are and how you can get there, and then backcast from what your ultimate goal is and what you can do over years 1, 2, and 3. This is an example of a one-year green team plan that I think is pretty transparent. And I think for a lot of people, it's what they need to do. You just want to, in your first quarter, you just want to create the team, develop somewhat of an action plan and inventory where you are. Then you can start tackling things in quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, whether it's a waste audit, an alternative transportation, or an energy thing. Find out what else is going on with your organization. If your organization is around Earth Day, we always do a commute trip reduction thing, or we do Bike to Work Month in May, then organize it around that. But you want to be setting things out by a quarterly basis. Don't try and bite off everything every month or once a month. You want to set things out with a more realistic time frame over that first year. You probably don't need this slide, but I think it's an important one just to lay out what is a typical agenda. You have to have the intro, have something that's going to be energizing. People are going to be coming. What is that news story or something about that's going on sustainability or whatever that people can get excited about? It can be internally your organization, be externally your organization. Spend some time brainstorming some new ones, but then, come back and figure out what's the milestone and, what's the goal that we're trying to accomplish? What's the one thing we're trying to do? What's the milestone and resources we need to do that? How are we going to share progress with the rest of the company in this quarter? And then make sure you close by setting the next time and meeting. There can be nothing worse than having a meeting and then saying, okay, we'll let you know when the next one is, because by doing that, you've got everybody in the room right there. Figure out the schedules right there, or figure out a doodle poll that you're going to get people on, but do it immediately so it gets on people's calendar. Even better, have a set calendar over the course of the year where you put the meetings on the calendar. And all this builds towards ways to gain external support. So again, you need to share and market the success of your green team. So find that baseline, but as you're doing it, track where the cost savings are that you've found and where are the ones you can project. Show lessons learned that you can apply to future projects. Have employee case studies or stories that you can share. They don't have to be the most exciting thing in the world, but people definitely need to hear from you, and they want to hear it in a story format, not just a bunch of data points. Find ways you can leverage existing communication channels. Whether your organization has a weekly newsletter or a daily email that goes out, maybe you have an intranet site, at staff meetings, you have an employee blog. Find ways that you can get your information, your successes into these existing communication channels. Don't just try and start up your own one from scratch. And again, host events to showcase some of these efforts and engage partners. When you've got things and that you want to celebrate in success, invite people to them. Food is a great motivator. People will get there. Now, that's not what you're using to recruit people to your green team, but after your green team's had success, use food to bring people in to share your stories and your messages. It's a great way to showcase your efforts and engage other partners in your organization.